we're back, and we have a new co-host to replace Riva here. He's not as beautiful, but this is handsome.
I wish.
Mr. Lloyd Luna.
Hello, Lloyd.
Yeah, you tell us about your show first.
I'm hosting basically a Friday show, which is Creative Business.
Creative Business.
10:30.
Also on the business portal, right?
Also on the business, of course.
Okay, so Ted, is there a line we can call?
Yes, for any irregularities on barangay and SK election, you may text Global News Network Helpline 0939-674-4511 and include your name and location, please.
Okay, so back to Attorney Season.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
go ahead.
we wanted to ask you, how autonomous is the SK from the barangay, or if ever?
Well, there's really no autonomy except that we expect the young people, the SK members, to formulate recommendations as to policies and programs for the young people. No, like for example, offhand, probably they could concentrate on education for, let's say, those who are
Out of school youth.
Out of school youth, yeah. And then how to develop further the education so that in case they drop out, they have employable skills. And then also the formulation of the budget of the barangay. No?
So
and
recommendatory.
then also training, the training of young people, how they can govern when they do take over. Like for example, I'm thinking now aloud. No, I'm beside Lloyd here. No.
Why is it so that you're thinking aloud?
No, because I know you're a very young person. How is it possible that you develop this capacity at such a young age? Is it something you experienced as a young person? Did somebody encourage you? Did you have this exposure? Were you ever in the SK? Was it necessary? Or what? Were your parents involved? You know, things like that. Because whatever his answer is to those questions, we should adapt that. So that there can be more people like him who are starting new. He is a self-starter. I don't know where he got his budget. Probably he can explain that also. But I'm sure
I'm tempted to actually.
no, but he has to start somewhere. Of course, he has an education.
You're on the seat. You're on
Hindi
the
ba?
seat right
Hindi
now.
ba? Because I will tie that into the SK.
Yeah.
Because remember, if the SK people who are sitting followed, let's say, the lead or example of Lloyd, you will not have the Senate President thinking of junking the whole thing, no? Of ending.
How do you feel about that?
Di ba?
How do you feel about
I
that?
should have run.
I
got
That's
one
what
more.
we wanted to ask
Kasi
you.
I remember when I
What's
first
wrong
met,
with you that you didn't run?
when I first met him, he was so involved. I think he was only 21 then, no?
And now he's, what, 22?
At least
Just
23.
kidding.
I'm 28 right now, but before you even talk to me any further, I would like to give the updates of elections of the different barangays in the Philippines through our partner, of course, Informatics.
Ayun.
Ladies and gentlemen, bumoto na po si Pangulong Benigno Noynoy Aquino III kaugnay sa barangay at SK elections sa Sitio Alto Barangay Central, San Miguel, Intarlac. Pasado alas 10 ng umaga, tumungo ang Pangulo sa kanyang presinto, that's 175-A, para bumoto kasama ang kapatid na sina Pinky Aquino Abiliada at Balsi Aquino Cruz. So yun po, galing sa Tarlac.
And in Dagupan City naman, dinakip ng mga pulis ang 7 tauhan ng isang kandidato sa pagkapunong barangay sa bayan ng Anda dahil sa paglabag sa ipinatupad na liquor ban. Nagpapatrolya ang mga pulis sa barangay Kabungan at kanilang namataan ang 7 tauhan ni punong barangay Rogelio Carranza na nagiinuman. Dahil dito, hinuli ang 7 at ikinulong. Nakatakda ang mga itong sampahan ng kaso.
Okay, sa Manila naman, the Commission on Election delays in the printing of the ballots and election paraphernalia for the
delays.
For the delays. Oh, well, I couldn't read that very well. The delivery of the same before the National Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections on Monday. Voters at the Parola Cainta Rizal is continually receiving flyers from running candidates.
Okay, that's why you are not telling us about your age.
No, yes, sorry.
That eye problem is part.
Yeah, the eye problem.
He forgot
really,
his
I
eyes.
forgot. Yeah, they should put it in all
He
caps
forgot
and
his
font,
reading glasses.
font 20 or font 39.
So let's go back to you, Lloyd.
Let's go back to me. All right,
Yes,
go ahead.
right. Why didn't you run?
No, I don't. I know, maybe it's not my priority. We've been training SKs, a lot of SKs.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I've worked in the Office of the President in 2004, and after that, we are able to learn how the bureaucracy actually works. So we started to become, I myself became a consultant of SK officials. So what really happened during the time is we were the ones who are guiding our fellow youth. Because we cannot expect really to have not all, but most of these people, the barangay captains and barangay council members, you cannot expect them to teach. Especially if they're benefiting from what they are doing or not doing.
Right.
So it's like let this SK work on its own. Let's not guide them, because once they start to learn something about governance or good governance, and then maybe makakalaban sila ng mismong mga nakaupo.
Oh my God,
So-
that's tragic.
Yeah, that's why
Instead of developing the youth, they're being put
You
in
mean
their place.
they're considered as future threats?
yes, they are. They're not even future threats, attorney. They are the present threat.
But in fact, they are.
They are. So
They should be, because I think that's a healthy relationship to have, where people actually
Well-
feel that they should be accountable to each other.
Definitely.
In that
That's
way.
why we'll have to ask Senator Enrile and Senator Angara why they are trying to do this. Will it be effective if they are just trying to elect a city or municipal officials in the council, or trying to make some changes and really make it clear on how these young people are going to be trained?
Perhaps it's time to look into the provision of the Constitution on political dynasties. That's also part of the problem and the challenge. Because if you're saying these young people are not being trained because they're future threats, because they're future threats to replace.
Exactly.
Perhaps members of the dynasties and all of that.
Not even to replace, attorney, yung mismong oras na meron silang resolution na ipapasa.
Oo.
Pwede kasing nagmagno yung isang kabataan.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
So,
That's
hindi
right.
lang siya future
Because they sit in the council.
They sit in the council. They have the voting power.
Yes.
They also have the budget. They also have their own community who can actually rally behind. They have
Dapat
clout.
talaga tumakbo siya eh.
This reminds me of a barangay. This reminds me of a barangay. No, actually, it's the mayor of a town in one of our provincial locales. No? So I went there. I was asked to go there because the mayor in that town wanted to manipulate the election. So what they did.
No specific town.
Yeah, I will not mention the town. The town, because the council members were actually detained by the mayor, brought to a place here in Metro Manila, detained, so they cannot take part in the election of the new member
Imagine that.
representing the what's this? Diba they can meet and elect another member of the community representing well, SK is one, the other one is representing the barangay association, diba?
Barangay
Okay. So, to intimidate them, that mayor of that town detained at least 2 councilmen. So that way he gets the majority.
That particular case can actually give us some sort of wisdom. Why not dissolve the municipal or city council instead of SK?
Yes.
Ah.
Actually,
I mean, the one who is
You're talking about the
if you're talking
training.
about that situation,
because
talking
in
about
fact,
that
the
situation.
barangay captains themselves, they could have the role of the councilors. You know,
Yes.
they could be the
That's
legislators
right.
in the
You get
city
all the
council.
barangays of your town and they act
Exactly.
as the councilors. You
Yes.
don't need.
You don't need the councilors.
That's
for
right.
the
If he is the chairman of, or she is the chairman of the ABC, the barangay Association of Barangay Captains.
Well, yeah. Then he sits.
And then he
has
sits
another
ex
position
officio.
in
But
the
not even. I
municipality.
mean, for all barangay captains to actually sit as legislators in the city
They
council
can rotate.
instead of
They
city
can have a
councilors,
rotation.
That will save a lot of money.
They can probably have a
A
rotation.
lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a big
right.
budget to that also.
Definitely. So I think that the idea is we'll have to really put these things in proper perspective, kasi baka mamaya meron lang tayong isang bias, especially our legislators who would later on decide whether to have this SK stay or
Yeah.
I
Or
don't-
probably the SK in their particular community, like you said, would not necessarily vote with the other councilmen to
Right.
approve certain proposed legislation. No?
Yep.